Good evening, everyone. I'm going to keep this relatively short because I actually think it's more interesting when we get to the Q&A session. Although I thought I might be late. I wasn't with the PM. I was in Peckham being interviewed by some 12-year-olds for a project we're supporting there, so it'll be interesting to see who's the more difficult audience. I guess the first thing I want to say is I'm going to try and share our experience on the business case and what we've done at M&S. And I don't have the final answers. We're still on a journey. We're still learning. So, you know, we're constantly chopping and changing, trying to improve what we do. But I'll hopefully share with you my experience. Most of you will be aware of Plan A, but just to give you the background, Plan A was launched back in January 2007, 100-point plan across 5 pillars, trying to tackle all the big issues right across the value chain of M&S through manufacturing, our own operations, and customer use of our products. It has since been extended, so it now doesn't stop this year, which is great. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a new job. But we do keep reinventing. We keep moving it forward. When we launched Plan A, we said we'd spend £200 million on it, so £40 million over those 5 years. And we launched Plan A because we thought it was the right thing to do. We didn't go into it thinking there was a business case. We didn't think we were going to make money out of it. We thought it was the right thing to do, which is why we said we'd spend that money up front. And we've had great results. So in 2009, we announced that we were cost neutral, so the benefit coming in was on par with the money we were spending. 2010, we announced we made £50 million net benefit on the back of Plan A, and last year over £70 million, which is obviously a fantastic figure, and we're really pleased with that, and it's only going in one direction. But I guess one of my first key points is when we talk about the business case, when I talk about the business case, it's much more than just that financial bit. For us, it's all of the value that Plan A delivers to Marks & Spencer. So actually, I talk about the business case in terms of value terms rather than necessarily just in terms of financial terms. So alongside that number there, we get huge amounts of benefit in terms of staff motivation. You know, we get huge numbers of people that join us and say, actually, one of the reasons I came to join M&S was because of Plan A. And they don't just say that in the interview. You know, 2 weeks in, I get a phone call. They come and talk to us, find out how they can get involved. We've got wellbeing programs. We've got a wellbeing website, 10,000 people, 10,000 staff all signed up to that. And when you consider most of our staff are in stores with no internet access, that's really fantastic. We get lots of benefit in terms of supply chain resilience. Lots of benefit in terms of PR, both in terms of positive PR, but actually the negative PR that doesn't happen because we're well engaged. We've got lots of stakeholders we work with, we interact with the media, so actually if there is a challenge out there, people come and talk to us and we can show them what we're doing. And it's also about differentiation, trying to differentiate ourselves from the competition. We're a very different retailer than many other people on the high street. We're a 100% own brand, but we still need to differentiate ourselves, make sure customers are coming into our stores as opposed to the competition. So that's one of my key points, is look at value, not just the financial element of the value. When we look at that 70 million, broadly breaks down into three areas. So one of the big areas is the obvious area. It's all about resource efficiency. How do we save energy? How do we cut out fuel? How do we produce less waste or make better use of that waste? But actually 2 other key categories. One is about driving our existing business, and one is about driving new business. So when I talk about driving existing business, we have our Oxfam Clothes Exchange. We encourage people to go and recycle their clothes with Oxfam. They get a voucher to come and spend in our store. So I've got customers that keep coming back to my store. So that's about driving our existing business. And we've got new business. So a couple of years ago, we launched M&S Energy, supplying gas and electricity, solar, loft insulation. It's a great business, and Plan A's allowed us to do that, breaking into new markets. So how do we come to measuring and producing this business case? Well, one of the key successes of Plan A has been the breadth and depth of it in terms of what we cover, but also how we've rolled it out across the business. So we're really clear in terms of driving the accountability and the responsibility across the business, and it touches every part of the business. And my job was to come in and make sure we can manage that. So how do we be clear on who's got that accountability? How do we know who's doing what? How do we know how we're progressing? What are the risks? What are the opportunities? So all the sort of change management, project management, program management that you would apply to normal business, we wanted to apply to Plan A. So as we were going through that process, it seemed only obvious to start looking at what are the costs and what are the benefits we're deriving off the back of it. And because we had that granular breakdown of information at a project level, at an initiative level, at work level, it allowed us to start collecting that information. And as we started to understand actually it wasn't just the obvious numbers, the obvious things you'd think about. actually start scratching below the surface. There were lots of other benefits that actually people hadn't thought about or weren't capturing. So we've put a lot of focus into driving that. And actually, I've not done it on my own, thankfully. We've worked very closely with colleagues across the business. So actually, been working with my finance department. And actually, it's all handed across to them now. But actually, we sat down with them, and what we've got is every area's got a finance analyst, and every one of those finance analysts, as part of their day job now, is responsible for looking at Plan A. Responsible for looking at when an initiative's going out, what are the costs, what are the benefits, and I'll come on to it in a minute, but there's been lots of learnings, and through that learning, it helps them to start to scratch beneath the surface and start to look at things in a slightly different way. So one of the challenges is, as a business, for certainly M&S, people weren't necessarily used to reporting in this way. People were very much used to looking at their own costs, their own benefits, and not necessarily taking that cross-business view. And Plan A has been really successful in helping us link up different parts of the business. So actually you start to look at areas such as waste, and actually it's not just the issue of the facilities guys that've got to recycle it. Actually, if you can start saying, well, where's the waste coming from? You can start tracking back and start identifying savings that you can make in the business. Actually, sticking with waste, actually we started to look at it from a resource point of view in store. How much time are they spending helping to recycle, managing that waste? Actually doing that in a different way helps to save time in stores. So start to look at things across the business, not just in silos, enables us to look at benefits in different ways. One of the challenges has been, what elements do you include, do you not include? So a good example, we've got our teardrop trailers. You might have seen them bombing up and down the motorway. They're more efficient, they're really good, but when I look at that from a business case point of view, do I put the full cost of the trailer in, or do I just put the on cost, the differential between having we build a normal vehicle or this more efficient vehicle? What are you measuring against? What's your baseline? So if you're talking about energy efficiency, what's your saving from? When are you measuring that from? How do you know if the figures are good? I said I was going to be short, and I've had my time warning already. And I say, what's in or out? So if I sell a fair trade T-shirt, is that sale a benefit? Well, maybe not, because if they hadn't bought a fair trade T-shirt, they probably would have bought a different T-shirt. So lots of things that we've had to look at and learn about how we've on the way. And what it's really shown us is we need to look at every area very specifically and look at how do we best report for them, what works for that area, but have some overall guidance that we make sure it links up to. And I say having those finance analysts that know those areas, plus the business areas that also understand their areas, get together, meet up with other parts of the business, starts to really get under the skin. So how have we done it? As I say, we've had this cross-business network, we've got the resources out there, but actually the business is saying, we see real benefit in doing this. And why do we see benefit in doing it? We start to see new opportunity. We start to see cost savings that we wouldn't have otherwise seen. We start to see opportunities to grow things in ways we wouldn't have otherwise seen. We start to really understand why we're doing things. As I said before, we don't just do things because we've got a financial return on it. There are many other returns, many other value that M&S can get off the back of doing things. So we can be really clear about why we're doing things. So when we're sitting in front of senior management or the board and challenging why we're doing this, we can be really clear. And as I say, not everything has that financial return. So sometimes it's being clear to say, well, we're using a bit of a return over there to fund that project, and that project's going to deliver supply chain resilience. So we can be really clear in the round about how we're delivering all of this. So given my time warning is now up, 3 key messages. First thing is value, look at value, not just the financial value. You need that granular level of understanding of across your business of the information, who's doing what, so you can get under the skin of it. And it really enables improved decision making. That's been really key for us. Having that information has allowed us to make decisions better and make better decisions. Thank you.